and heavier traveling light. There's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to This Week in Zoltan. This is episode, I forgot, and I'm usually good at it, but we're not doing that. This is the episode you're watching right now, or listening to, and I'm coming at you from the studios. We got Mike with his ring light on.
I think this is 384.
384, you looked it up.
Looking
Thank
at it
you.
right now.
Look at That's why you have a mic. This is why you have a producer of the podcast that can quickly do the Google and go, hey, you idiot, it's this number. Welcome to episode 384. No Emma this week. We had a wacky travel week. Thank you, Delta, or what was it, CrowdStrike?
CrowdStrike, yeah.
Worst name for any company, and I'm sure that's been said 1,000 times since, what, Friday, when all that went down?
The airports looked like there was a CrowdStrike.
Dude, it felt like a massive. Why would you call your company that? Like,
It's
no one
so
invested
dumb.
it and then go, all right, I'll invest, but we're changing the name.
We got to do something better here.
Because there's no way major companies are going to allow us to work with a company called CrowdStrike. But they did, every company. So it messed up our schedule, so Emma's catching up on Safe Journal business. So Safe Journal, safejournal.co, 25% off if you use TWIZ at checkout and a handwritten note by me. I met a bunch of journalers this past weekend that came out to the shows in Portland, which was awesome. It was awesome to get to talk to them. Thank you for journaling. I read some comments on the episode that just dropped on the day that we're recording this. I'm glad you guys are enjoying journaling. I don't need to tell you that it's good. Read the comments. People are into journaling. You get your thoughts out there instead of just mumbling on the inside, and then you end up having arguments with people that aren't even in the room or in your life or even exist. And you get to have it on paper, and then you get to hash out your thoughts, look at them, dissect them, really fiddle through them until you feel better. Safe Journal, safejournal.co. TWIZ at checkout, 25% off. And a creepy handwritten note by me. Unless you know it's coming, then it's a welcome little gift.
Yeah, you can always order one to just mess with somebody.
Well, yeah.
No one ever said you couldn't.
It's like, why is this guy writing me a horribly written note about eating cheese?
Also, what a great way to be a comedian is people are recognizing me from my wife's business, from our sponsor. It's always the dream.
Well, isn't that what happened to Sticker Mule? Because like they got in all that trouble for tweeting. And then in one of the...
They emailed their customer base.
Oh, yes, they emailed everybody.
They were like, hey, just so you know, we love Trump. Like,
Yeah.
You're a sticker.
And they corrected that, and they went, no, we're a hot sauce company.
Stick to stickers, buddy. That's what I say. I just slowly moonwalk out of the room. Wait, they're a hot sauce company?
So I wasn't surprised that a company that sells stickers through the mail might be a Trump team, whatever. I can see how that. Anytime someone runs a company that isn't overseas, I'm like, and their business model is creating something in the country, I'm like, I'll be shocked if you're not a Trump guy. You know, like it just makes sense. But I will say to have the caveat in the argument on Twitter and go, actually, we're a hot sauce company. I didn't know that. Everyone buys stickers from you, and then they get a bottle of hot sauce. It makes about as much sense as me sending a handwritten note to somebody.
I've ordered from Sticker Mule before. I didn't get any hot sauce.
You didn't get hot
I don't
sauce?
think maybe my order wasn't big enough. I think it was like a $20 order of pins that I got as a
Now it makes
birthday
me.
gift for somebody who changed their logo the day after they got the pins. So
Wow.
what a waste. But you want to hear 5 hours ago today, Sticker Mule announced a strategic partnership with Public Square, which is a company to help consumers and businesses in the Patriot economy. Now, I haven't read past that, but I'm pretty sure we can understand what that means when they call it a Patriot economy.
Yes.
I don't think they're talking about New England football fans.
No. Wow, is that really what it's going to come to? We're going to have like Patriot and Democrat economies in America?
Well, I'll tell you this though. I'm actively trying to get my hands on real American beer. I want to
Hulk Hogan's beer?
Yes.
Yeah. Only because I'm such a deep cut wrestling fan that I know Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan have never seen eye to eye, I'm always going to be a BS. He has his own beer. The Stone Cold Brewing thing. They come out of El Segundo. It's a good beer. It's a heavy beer. It's not one you really want to just pour all over your face and eyes like the way he does it. That's more of a Bud Light thing you do.
Okay.
This is more of a sipping beer.
Broken Skull beer.
Broken Skull beer.
BS beer.
If you're not following Stone Cold Steve Austin on Instagram,
It's great.
It's all cats, especially if you're into me. If you're into me, you should be following Steve Austin on Instagram. It's just he hangs out with his cats. Poncho and Macho. He has a giant farm, I'm assuming in Texas or Nevada, somewhere. He has a giant ranch. He posted a photo of him like giving his chicken a bath in like a baby tub. It was just great content. It's great post-retirement Steve Austin content with a lot of animals involved. But I'm sticking with Steve Austin's beer over Hogan.
He's got a great logo though. It's just
It's
the
just-
outline of his mustache.
That's
and his,
great.
Yeah, it's great.
That's great. Do you know how much? I don't know if we talked about this before, but I listened to another wrestling podcast where they break down all the lies of Hulk Hogan. I feel like we've talked that about on here.
No, but it's great. I love it.
He constantly lies. Like he can't stop lying, even though he's lived an amazing life. If he just told the truth, he can't stop. Like he always adds weight to Andre the Giant every time he says, "Then I body slammed the 800-pound giant." I'm like, that guy didn't know 800 pounds. He's like, I tore
all the time.
all the time. He's like, I tore muscles in my back. One of my favorite lies is that he actually wrestled 400 dates a year. This is the one you just found.
I'm looking at a whole list of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that he wrestled 400 dates a year because he wrestled in Japan, and so on the flight back, you gain a day.
Brother.
And so he's like Superman. He's out there flying, and he's changing the force of the earth.
Did you know that he was also supposed to be the face and backing of a sponsored grill series that was going to go for sale, but he missed the meeting, so the deal went to George Foreman?
That's my favorite lie. That's a lie of his that I heard over a decade ago, and I repeated it to anyone who would listen. I would go, did you know the George Foreman grill was supposed to be the Hogan grill, and he missed a phone call, so he ended up doing Pasta Mania? He ended up doing a pasta. He ended up doing a pasta maker that was a giant failure. I think they opened restaurants too. Hulk Hogan's Pasta. This is like the 90s when they thought carbs were good for you.
Oh, it was a restaurant.
It was a restaurant, but it was also an at-home. You make this pasta at your house. However,
Sure
it
is.
was like it was all connected.
There's another great one that because you know that he was a musician, right? Playing in bands.
I know which one you're going to say, and I already love it. Go ahead.
He was supposed to be the replacement bass player for Metallica and the Rolling Stones, both of which bands have said that's never been the case.
I didn't know that it was also the Stones.
Yeah, apparently.
I thought he was just going Metallica. Yeah, Lars called me. They needed a bassist. This is around. They're about to make Saint Anger, but I can't. I'm
a happy guy.
I'm
a happy. I can't do a Hogan, but do you know in The Wrestler, Darren Aronofsky approached him many times to ask him to be the wrestler.
No, he didn't.
To which Aronofsky said, "Nope, never even once considered him." Direct quote.
I mean, talk about it not making sense with the movie. Can you imagine this fictional broken down wrestler who never hit the heights of his career and is now on the downside is being played by arguably the most successful wrestler of all time? Insane. But his lies, but that's why he did such a great job at the Republican National Convention, because like my Emma and I watched it, and Emma's like, wow, he's really good. I'm like, yeah, this is how he sold tickets for wrestling for 4 decades. He would go out there and be like, this Sunday, I'm going to slam that big stinky giant over my head, and the rafters of America will come alive.
Oh, you Trump-a-maniacs.
Yeah.
Also, that flows right off the tongue.
It does.
You want one more
Yes.
fake fact? He says that he fought pride fighters in the 1970s. Unfortunately, pride fighting did not exist until 1997. So, again, just some easy. I don't think he's. I think he's because he's 780 pounds of pure muscle and American steel.
Yes.
He can't type on his thumbs.
No.
Because he's too
no.
big.
He doesn't have the dexterity.
He doesn't have Google hands.
No, he needs to do some DDP yoga so he can have more dexterity in his thumbs so the truth can come out.
I got another one. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. What do you got? What do you got?
Trump. Hulk claims to have partied with John Belushi after WrestleMania 2 in 1986. John Belushi died 1982. I mean, these are great. I don't even know if any of these actually were what he said, but these are great.
I hope they're real. They're like Chuck Norris facts from 15.
Except sad.
Yeah.
Like Chuck's not in on it on this one.
I shot a Rush Hour 4. It was never released, but there's me and Kim Jong-un.
They asked me to be Vinny Chase in Entourage, but I turned it down.
I only go over, brother. Yeah, he's it's crazy when you go down through his career and you realize how selfish he was to stay on top. Oh, yeah. And it's also, to be fair to him, it's a very cutthroat business that he was in, so like you have to like work to keep your spot. But just the amount of things that he did and didn't do and the way he would spin things is it's beautiful to be that delusional.
Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Red, white, and blue or yellow? Just make which one do you like better? Out of curiosity.
I mean, I'm a patriot, so red, white, and blue, baby.
Oh, you're getting a red, white, and blue real American beer hat.
All right.
Compliments of the studio. And I'm getting the yellow one, brother.
Nice. Once they come in, we'll wear them on that episode.
That'll be great.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he. Did you watch the Republican National Convention?
I've seen the highlights.
Yeah, we watched.
I'm a clip guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We watched it live and in person, right. And then but the Trump speech went on.
You were there?
I mean, no.
Live on TV.
On TV.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
When I say live and in person, that means a lot because I feel like most people don't watch things live anymore.
You're right. Yeah,
They're watching clips like you're saying. They're maybe recorded, zipped through the commercials.
I'm very much nowadays the person that if someone says, "Did you read this?" I'd be like, "I saw some stuff."
Yes.
Or did you watch this? I mean, I watch the clips because I don't want to pretend like because I've done that too much.
Yeah,
which is lying.
It is lying. Yeah, you're like, oh, I saw a headline. And then you didn't read the article with the nuance and the facts and the things. Mm-mm. But no, we watched the thing, and Hogan opened with his... I don't think this gets brought up enough, but pro wrestlers, I think, are the only ones that can get away with wearing their own merch.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks normal. Because he showed up with his face, like that's before he tore it off, and there was a Trump thing underneath. Mm-hmm. It was a picture of him with an American flag, and I'm like, anyone else, like if James Hetfield was up there wearing a Metallica shirt, you're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why would you wear your own shirt? You wear another band's shirt or just a blank shirt.
Anyone involved in violence, like fighting, you can wear your own stuff.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if
MMA
one of the
fighter, boxer. Wear your stuff because they're hype machines.
Yes.
So they got to be the ones to be like, who? This guy right here. Maybe they forget who they are, so they have to be like, yeah, Hulk.
So some Biden shirts. And he could have been like, I'm at a debate. Oh, dear God.
He just looks down and goes, I hate Trump. Oh, right. Yeah, I got it. I got it. My God.
Yeah, we watched the whole thing. It was, so there was Hulk Hogan, there was Kid Rock. Dana White gave a speech. After a while, I was like, when did we start televising like the county fair? That's what the RNC felt like. Like Hulk Hogan did the opening speech, Kid Rock did a set. They did a pan of the audience. I swear I saw a guy eating a turkey leg. No. Dude, I'm gonna go see the swimming pig after this.
Pan to the left, guy eating turkey leg. Pan to the right, there's just a guy with a blue ribbon pig, just watching together. Oh, that's some pig. You talking about the... Okay, not the guy on the stage. Got
it. And as serious as, whoever the next president is going to be, it was fun. Like, it was minus, like, the really dark speeches that made it feel like The Handmaid's Tale was coming. Yeah. And it feels like it is.
Minus, one way or the other.
Yeah, and I think that's why they set up the speeches well. Like, it was like, Hogan, and then the poor bastard that had to follow Hogan, that was like, I don't know, what's like a horrible thing Well, I don't know. He just said like the most. We're gonna get rid of the Department of Education, and we're gonna teach the Bible. And then everyone's like, "Jesus!" And then Kid Rock came out. Like they spaced it out well. So it wasn't a horrible company Christmas party. It was well balanced.
It wasn't the Hulk didn't slam Yokozuna, and then the 1, 2, 3 kid had to come out and put on a show.
Yes.
How do I actually follow that?
You know, I love going back to Hogan facts just because I'm a wrestling fan.
I didn't close the tab.
Well, this won't be a lie. This is more of this is a true fact.
Sure.
But when he would do live events, like non-televised events, he demanded to go on 4th. Out of 8. Usually there's 8 matches and they have an intermission in between. And he demanded to go on 4th so he could get back to the hotel before they ended room service. And I was like, man, imagine that as like the headliner. Like, no, I go on in the middle. And I'm like, what sad sack has to go on after? They're like, no. Then they have the intermission, so a bunch of people leave. And then the people that do come back, then we'll go 1, 2, 3 kid and whoever else has to go after.
Also, Hulk, they don't have catering here? There's nowhere else in this entire city that this huge production can find you a turkey club and 4 gallons of real American beer. Some
real American beer. Yeah, it was the 80s, man. I guess it was different. We didn't have Uber Eats or something. No. I feel for the comics that traveled in the 80s because there's been many a night where I'm in a hotel room, not in any shape to drive a vehicle anywhere. And I'm watching YouTube, and you just hit your phone, and you're like, I got 4.5 pounds of Taco Bell coming right this way, and I'm going to be sitting here crisscross applesauce, underwear, no shirt on, giggling at my laptop screen. And like, how many comics in the 80s couldn't do that?
And they just had drugs.
That's right. Yeah, they just had to stay up doing cocaine all night.
So cocaine and talk to women.
Yeah, I'm over here taking something that's enhancing appetite. Even though I know everything's closed and it's going to have to be a grilled burrito where they put cheese on the outside,
sure,
which is definitely a Taco Bell invention. And I mean, I prefer it our way. But those guys were pioneers in what they did for us.
The reverse quesadilla?
The reverse quesadilla.
I make those at home. Cheese on the pan, quesadilla on top, folded in on itself, so now you have a crispy cheese inside.
Oh,
and then a soft outside. I've earned this blood pressure.
Yeah.
It's not a mistake.
You're a real food aficionado. I mean, we've already come to establish that.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely. Yeah, the RNC, pretty wild. Pretty wild. Trump went a little long. I think well, how long was that speech? Did anyone clock
90
it?
minutes.
90 minutes.
What they said, yeah.
Wow. He did it. He went full Cosby. Like Cosby used to do 90.
Yeah, but people paid to see Cosby do 90.
Yeah, that's true. That was a long time because in the beginning, he opened with the
92 minutes. Sorry, 92.
Man, he opened with the assassination attempt, which you have to.
How do you not?
Yeah, I don't think you can. He's not going to open with the border and then backtrack and go, remember I got shot?
Remember his opening, Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy. What a dog.
What a dog. I got a paper plate on my head. But first I got to get this heavy-breasted woman out of my mind. I love that they, not to get too political, but
right.
I love the Democratic decision to wait until they pick the VP to do the Biden switch.
Oh,
because they specifically did that to.
I'm so dumb I didn't even notice that.
To counteract Trump Vance was perfect for Biden Harris.
Right.
But as soon as they pick Vance and that's locked, they switched, and now the Vance pick is useless.
Because it's not as sexy anymore because now the attention's back on that.
Yeah.
It's
kind of brilliant political tactic.
It is, because we're getting down to nut cutting time. Like
it's happening.
November's right around the corner. You know what this feels like, to put it in terms I can understand. This is like you had the WrestleMania main event set for a year.
Yeah.
And then 4 months out, someone blows an ACL, and then The Rock comes in, and he's like, I'm going to do it. But then the fans boo. No, we want to see Cody Rhodes. Oh, then we got to fix all this, and then it ends up all working out in the end.
Yeah.
And they sell out a stadium twice. But yeah, it's like we're rebooking main event for WrestleMania.
It's like what they should have done, which was pull the Ultimate Warrior once we found out he wasn't a good wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
But they just kept letting him go. we took him out before he got in too deep. Didn't let him hold the belt for too long.
Oh, that was another great story where they fired him via letter.
It's great.
Yeah, where he ran backstage and Vince handed him a letter and went, "Yeah, you're fired and you're insane." Just so you know.
And just so you know who's telling you that, I am Vince McMahon calling you insane.
Yeah. Oh, man. I kind of wish Ultimate Warrior was still alive, just so after everything has come out about Vince, he'd be like, see, this is who I was dealing with. And then people would have been like, no, you're pretty insane, too. It's just you guys were working together, so it bumped heads.
We also forgot. We don't care anymore. We've moved on. The zeitgeist has shifted.
Energy has shifted to the other end. But yeah, the RNC was crazy. And then that happened Thursday. And then Friday, Emma and I were heading up to Portland, Maine to go do shows. And that's when CrowdStrike, the worst named company of all time, did their namesake and ruined the world by just shutting down. It was an update. That's what I read. They created an update. And then the guy left or something. It's crazy to think that it's a guy. Just a guy with a key card, white shirt, ties off, open on top. Came back from lunch, maybe has like a sauce stain in the corner of his mouth. And then he hits update, and then no one can fly anywhere.
That's
and then
crazy.
he just goes home, plays Xbox for the rest of the weekend. Nuts.
Apparently this happens all the time. These automatic updates that the companies don't really have no say in.
Okay.
But this one just had a bug in it.
Oh, it just wasn't good.
It just was. This is a thing that happens all the time, and but this time
There's no reverse. That's the part I don't.
Where's the unupdate button?
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. When you edit a video and you're like, there's no take two. We just got to ride this
There's
out.
no Command Z.
Dude. Like, this is why I'll never be in charge of a company. Because if I was like the CEO, usually the CEO understands the company, but he's not the nuts and bolts guy. That's like the engineers that have to do all the stuff that the psycho comes up with. And then if I was the CEO of CrowdStrike and they told me the issue, I'm like, well, just undo that and use the last update. And then they would have to explain to me why that doesn't work, which I still don't understand why that doesn't work.
No.
It's like Trump going, "Can we blow up the hurricane?" Like,
Can we just blow against it? Now it's not a hurricane.
now it's not a hurricane. It's a
More like a
nuclear.
tornado, and tornadoes are wimps.
But I mean, that's what if I was the CEO of CrowdStrike, that would have been my solution of like, just undo the update and re-updo the last update. That worked.
Well, I'll tell you right now, on the CrowdStrike homepage, they're promoting a convention that they're heading to, or they're putting on, called, I'm not kidding, Falcon. And it's trying to be like Falcon, but it looks like FailCon.
Oh,
a convention of failures. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
They don't have a PR person.
They don't have, I don't know who's in charge over here.
Anyway, they ruined everyone's travel plans on Friday. I was stuck at the airport. It was supposed to be the easiest travel day of ever because it's like an hour flight, hour and a half
so
from here
short.
to Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
And we get there. I wake up that morning and I read the news and I'm like, this could affect our travel day. And then we still go to the airport. The lounge is packed with comedians. I'm there with Josh Adam Myers and Shane Torres, and they told me a couple others were going around. I saw some girl in a zany Chicago shirt, but I couldn't place her face. I'm like, I don't know who that, but she must be a comic. Who else was wearing a zany's?
I've never seen anyone wear those other than comics.
Yeah, only comics wear those sweaters. And but I didn't know who she was. She was in there. And we were stuck, and we were trying to make the decision of, do we wait for the delays or do we go rent a car? Because it was the perfect. I kind of wish the show was further away.
So you could just go home.
Yeah, yes. Like if we were flying to Tampa, the driving isn't an option.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. We're either going to stay here and wait for them to fully cancel our flight, or we can just go home. But there isn't the option of driving. Unfortunately, Portland, Maine, we had the option to rent a car and go drive it. And then I'm like trying to make the decision. And then they didn't cancel it. They delayed it. So then I went to the gate, talked to the guy, and I'm like, how's it looking? Because by the way, every flight's getting canceled.
Yeah, it's over.
Canceled, go home. You're not going anywhere. And then this guy's like, I mean, it's still an option, but just to let you know, I'm waiting for flight attendants from different flights in different cities that are also delayed to work this flight. And if they don't make it, we do have extra flight attendants on hand, but every flight is going through this problem, so I can't guarantee it. But the way he laid it out, I'm like, there's no way in hell we're getting out
I
of
didn't
here.
understand half of those words, man.
Yeah, you don't
I'm getting a car. I think what you just said was Avis.
It felt like a disaster movie where the scientist is trying to explain to the president that the world's going to freeze over. And he's like, well, is there a chance it doesn't? And he's like, yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I sure. And
Science is concluded. We might win.
is Trump the most imitated with the voice? Because it's so he has such a unique cadence and delivery.
I mean, they all were, right? Like Bill
Obama
Clinton,
had an amazing one.
Bill Clinton.
Biden has nothing.
Biden's got a little bit, but it's not as
good.
he's going against.
I was a kid that had no clue what an election was, and I knew who Ross Perot was because they did a caricature of this guy.
I knew him as a kid just because of Dana Carvey. Can I finish? Can I finish? That's all I know. Apparently, that guy never got a chance to finish his sentences. That's all I know. But literally, that's all I know about Ross Perot.
Can I
finish? Can I finish?
Well, he was a CEO, so he was probably always allowed to talk at board meetings. No one was cutting him off, And but anyway, yeah, we were stuck at the airport, and I made the decision. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go rent a car. I'm a national rental car guy. I open it up, they're sold out. The only one that's left is Dollar. No one's a Dollar member, by the way. No, that's like being a Spirit Airlines frequent flyer. You're on there because you're trying to get away from a murder scene. That's why you're like...
Or you live and only travel within Florida.
Yes.
You're flying from Tampa to Orlando for no reason twice a week.
Yeah. I don't even know what job that would be. And you don't either. It's drugs. But it's something that wouldn't... that's the only way you're a Spirit member. So we have to go to Dollar Rent a Car. We go over there. And it's just one of those classic scenarios when you're late and everyone's on their day off. Everyone just acts like they have all the time in the world, and you're like, man, I don't think we're going to make it. We show up, there's a line. The line's not that big to get a car, but all three people working the computers are very elderly women who are just sitting there, and they look confused. They're looking at the screen, and they're like, that doesn't look right. I think CrowdStrike might have been attacking their computer too, and so every transaction took forever.
Yeah.
Every transaction, I'm like, how is this that hard?
And Dollar always takes forever.
They do.
So this is just like, we're really pumping the brakes on the brakes here.
Yeah, I wanted to look over the counter, and I thought they were going to be like putting in like a Netscape DVD, like CD, to get some more minutes on the internet.
They turn around, they start flipping the abacus. You're like, what? How much was it again? Oh, forget
it. They hand me a crank start for the car. I got to be up front jerking that thing.
They're like, oh, you're parked over in C3. Here's your whip. Yeah. My whip. Oh, it's a horse and a buggy.
Here's an extra.
Oat prices are double if you pay for it here.
One of those situations where you didn't upgrade and you were actually useful. But one time the power went out in San Diego, like someone messed up, like all the power went out everywhere. No one's cell phone was working, and the only phone that would work was landlines. And my mom had a landline, and we were the only ones that could like communicate with people. And it's because she had this old phone still in the kitchen. Yeah.
So apparently Southwest did not get affected because they are still operating on Windows 3.1.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, do you know what Windows we're on now?
No.
12. You don't have to know anything about anything.
This is run by someone's dad.
Do you know when Windows 12 was released? I'm sorry, Windows 3.1 was released?
No, what year?
I need you to guess.
Oh my God, I don't know. 03?
Try again.
05?
You're going the wrong way, bud.
Oh no.
oh no is closer.
2001?
1992.
Whoa!
I'll never fly Southwest again.
That means that airline.
So funny.
That means Southwest after 9/11 went, oh, we're not changing the computer systems. Like the terrorists and the thing. And we're gonna keep the same.
Wow, this is so good.
Do they have like when they try to change someone's seat, does that little paperclip helper thing pop up? And you're like,
great question.
Stickly, I forget what that guy's name was. Clippy.
Unfortunately, no. because Clippy was introduced in 1996. Their systems are older than Clippy. Clippy wasn't around, and they're still using that software. How are they allowed to be in business?
I don't know.
That should be illegal.
Dude, when your computer system could also run Oregon Trail, I think that's where you got to step in and go, I think we got to update.
I'm gonna throw up if we keep making fun of this. I'm gonna
I mean, their employees wear shorts.
Hey,
Come
why
on.
not? They got fun airplanes.
I like the vibe of Southwest. One time they sent me a gift card just because. Are you about to throw up?
No, I just need some water because I laugh myself into hiccups. That happens to me about once a week. I get such a good laugh that I lose my breath and then I have a hiccup. I say I'm going to throw up, but that's just for comedic sake. But I am going to hiccup this entire time.
Please take a
I need
second.
a sip.
That is insane. But I do like Southwest. Like,
Are you going to puke?
yeah, I thought you were gonna puke. I thought we were
What
gonna.
if I
Have
started hurling in the bucket here?
You know what the worst part
that'd be
is?
great.
I just burped too. I think it's contagious. It's like the yawn. But if you ended up like choking or something, I don't know how to turn any of this off. So there'd be weird footage of me like way smaller than you, giving you the old Heimlich, trying to.
Looks like an elf jumping on Santa.
Yeah, just a
You
bad-
choked on a cookie.
And then because we're such gluttons for content, we would post it.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
we'd play it at your memorial. like it would be like, and this is how we lost.
If I was puking, I would hope you would say, "Make sure your camera's on."
Switch cameras.
That's the only thing you know how to figure out. Wait, which one is it? Oh, it's so good.
Oh man, that was
Anyway,
insane.
the tag I had was Southwest Airlines. You think it's chaos? The boarding process is chaos. You should look at our screens. They're green. Oh, God damn it.
I mean, are
Pardon
they
me.
gonna? They're never gonna update now because they weren't doing it before.
I mean, and great opportunity for like a great strategic partnership. You know, like Apple to come in and do something like and be like, hey, not only are we updated, we're now on Safari 26. I'd freak out.
Like most people are on Macs, aren't they?
I think
like
that Windows 92 operates on typewriter. Actually, I don't think it's actually a computer.
The first computer we had at the house wasn't a computer where I think you could connect to the internet. It was one of those brother computers that had a monitor, but it was a typewriter. So when it would print, you would type it up, and then when you're like, they're like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yes," and it'd be like, "Dun dun 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 dun," and then I'd print out my homework.
And you had to put those like giant floppy disks in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The old school
Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, because sometimes it'd be like, teachers would be like, print out your homework. And then we would do it, and mine's the only one where they got to tear like those weird side tabs off. And they're like, was this on a Scantron?
You did your homework like you were renting a car. Just fold it up. Your homework's in 4B.
Yeah.
Oh,
here you are.
that's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how Southwest keeps. That's how they stayed in business during this giant meltdown. Also, a great thing to learn, like if you're running Delta, if you're Ed Bastien, I think that's the name of the CEO,
Sure.
or whoever the CEOs are for the other major airlines, don't be on the same system everybody runs. Because then when it goes down, you're all down.
Yeah.
At least pick one where, like, if they go down, we're still winners. We're still like, well, look at Delta now.
Yeah. And not at one point did any of them go, we should have backup plan. Nah, we'll be fine. We're airplanes. We'll just glide to the ground.
But also backup plans are also kind of sad sometimes. Like I had this backup plan at the house because this didn't get a lot of news because the Trump assassination attempt happened, I think, the same day. But some guy, some lunatic, wanted to go do something nefarious to like the electric grid in New Jersey, and it would have knocked out power for like New York City and all that. They caught him before he did it.
Yeah.
But he was planning to, and it didn't make as big a news because the Trump thing happened the same day. And I remember telling my wife, and I was like, Emma, like if it's sweltering hot and we have no power, the house is going to be a mess. Like, we're going to die in there. It's going to be so hot. What are we going to do? So our backup plan is I went on Amazon and I got us a cooler. And I was like, all right, if the power goes out, we throw all the ice into this cooler and we can cool off with that. That's the backup plan. So with all due respect to Ed Bastien, the head of Delta, his backup plan to CrowdStrike failing is probably not that great.
No, probably not.
It's probably going to be like, well, what if we have some laptops in a glass case and everyone smashes them, and then that's how we connect manually. Like, what are you talking about?
I'd love to see that what actually happened is you brought the cooler home and you go, I have a backup plan in case the air goes off, and Emma's like, oh, so we can cool ourselves off with ice that's in there? You're like, uh-huh, and you slowly just start taking the beer out of it, putting it in the fridge. Like, yeah, that was the plan. I just thought we'd get drunk. I thought that cooling part through.
I mean, that is probably how it would go down.
It's Broken Skull beer, baby.
It's Broken Skull. You know what doesn't cool you down? IPAs. I've never felt hotter and more full.
I can't stop drinking them, though.
I like them. I like the way they make me feel.
IPA and a whiskey. I want a left hook and then a right hook.
I'd like a can of Optimism and a shot of Can Do.
When I'm drinking like that, though, I want to know that I'm drinking. You know what I mean? Like, I'm drinking those two for a reason, so it can't go down good.
No,
it's got to go like this. Each one. Ooh, it's just gotta hurt.
It gets to a point where talking is painful. Yeah. That's how full you are, and you're like, can we not talk for at least an hour?
I gotta settle this down by inhaling a cigar. Cool off. Cool off by breathing in a.
Oh man, I got something gross to say.
I think you just say it. Just
it's something grosser.
Sure.
Last night we were in bed and we're watching American Psycho.
Oh.
Yeah.
And here's the video. Or what?
Last night we're in bed. We're watching American Psycho. I'd never seen the movie. And the main guy, Christian, how do you do? Right?
Christian Bale,
that guy. He's engaging in coitus with a lady of the night. Mm-hmm. And he's grunting away. Sure. And I grunted too. And Emma's like, whoa, you guys grunted at the same time. I'm like, yeah, but mine was a fart. But they synced up. So he's over there with a solid, and I'm just like,
oh, you both grunted. Well, you can't smell his.
I'm sorry. That was just, if Emma was here, I wouldn't have told that story because she would have been like, don't tell people how gross you are. You don't need to. That's not going to help.
You're like, they know.
They know.
They know.
They can see it on my face. Yeah. So the airport went to hell. That was this whole story. And we by the time
how did an airport going to hell turn into you farted?
I farted during
Christian Bale grunting
in American Psycho.
That's so stupid.
Well, by the way, that movie, at the end of it, I'm like, so did he kill those people or is he just hallucinating?
I think it's up to you to decide, right?
Yeah, because it's funny because the entire time I'm like, there's no way he's getting away with all these murders. Like one of them, he kills this lady by dropping a chainsaw on her from like 8 stories up in the lobby of the building. I'm like, someone had to. How small is New York City in this movie? Like that no one's around? They're like, what?
I think it's like you're walking a balance, whether it's a hallucination or it's reality or what's real, what's not. You know, it's
right.
It's like a drug. It's like a drug haze. / I'm crazy. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I don't know how much of this I've done, and I don't know how much of this is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah, we ended up getting these rental cars, and we drove. It was supposed to be a 5-hour drive to Maine to Portland. And it ended up being closer to 7. We started the show 30 minutes late. It's supposed to start at 7. I think we got started.
Oh, you like rolled in.
I rolled in. The comics or they're about to start the show. I'm changing out of my shorts. I dress like a dad coaching Little League when I drive. So I'm wearing like Under Armour or whatever. And so I'm changing in the back. I'm taking off my pants, taking off my shorts, putting on pants. The opening comics on stage. And the green room over there is just curtains. It's just curtains with a light. And an audience member, because I said that on stage, I was like, I was back there changing my pants. And after the show, this audience member's like, we could see the silhouette. like that old comedy trope where like the attractive woman is in the other room and takes the shirt off,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like those
yeah.
Austin Powers sketches where like it looks like he's doing something else in there. But yeah, apparently some people could see the silhouette
So wait.
of me taking my shorts off and putting pants on.
How has that never been seen before? Like the club hasn't noticed that ever before a comic back there?
I don't think most people take their pants off back
That's a
there.
good point, yeah.
It's a small club. It's a great club, by the way. Empire Comedy Club. They're above a Chinese restaurant
Sure.
in downtown Portland, Maine. And great space, hot crowds, but they don't have a green room. Essentially, it's their stage and then some curtains next to the stage, which is the green room, which is just a space with a couple chairs. And and there's a lamp in there, and that caused the backlighting, so everyone got to see me disrobe, and then go on stage right after. But they were a great crowd. Like those two shows Friday were so electric that afterwards I asked the owner, I'm like, this is what crowds in Portland, Maine are like all the time? He's like, yeah, sometimes. And I'm like, what a great place to do comedy.
It's getting tougher and tougher every day to justify living in New York. So I'm keep my ears open.
Portland, Maine's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's they have the same issues I guess any city does. They have a lot of homeless people, but their homeless people are like throwback homeless people. Like these people look like prospectors. They look like the mill went out of work and then they've been living in the hills.
It also sounds, I've never been, but the vibe I feel from hearing about it is you can't tell who's homeless and who just like works at the coffee shop.
Fair.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
I mean, well, yeah, I met some people. There's one Friday late show, my front row looks so unique. Like there's a guy in the front who looked like Bebop from Ninja Turtles. Like he had the
spikes.
shaved mullet, and I was like, "Did you beat up the turtles in the '90s?" And everyone laughed because they could immediately see what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And so, like, there are people that have an interesting look out there, but then everyone else, artists, bunch of artists. They have the Maine Institute of Art out there. Huge foodies. The food out there was amazing.
Yeah, I hear it's great.
Bunch of bakeries that are. We went to this place, Tandem Coffee, which their coffee is great, but the food there is the real winner.
Really?
They make these fresh biscuits. Everything's fresh, but these biscuit sandwiches, and then they had one with jam and butter. I ate that one day, and then we went back the second day. Then I got it with egg and bacon and all that. So good.
You had me at biscuits.
Yeah.
I'm talking quietly for no reason. I apologize.
I think that's how you're supposed to talk about biscuits.
I think that's how you do it.
That's how you talk about
And then you're in bed and you start farting, and you call that a bed biscuit.
Listen, no matter what, they're carbs. All right.
One way or the other, someone's eating it.
But the food was next level. It was really good. Underrated food scene. Beautiful town.
It's only 5.5 hours. That's great.
It's not far away, and I might be wrong, but I feel like I've looked on articles. I've seen in articles it's listed as like a city where people are moving to break away from living in a big city like New York or Boston or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an option. I'm sure it's brutal in the winter.
Yeah, but that's kind of cool, though, right? The whole town's brutal, right? It's not like you're the only one experiencing it.
Right. I think I would live out there. It's not that cheap. I looked on Zillow, and
Really?
I think it's still way cheaper than here, but you're still spending multiple millions on a house. But it's a 19-bedroom house. It's some old giant house with a crap ton
That
of
was
rooms.
inspired by a Steven Spielberg book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steven
It's
Spielberg. That's not what I was saying. Stephen King.
Stephen King. Yes.
Steven Spielberg.
It feels a little
What, did E.T.
murdery.
live here? This guy's an idiot. Yeah, the pictures are very picturesque, but also daunting.
Yeah. They got an edge to
Very
them.
severe.
It's kind of
Severe beauty. That's what I'm going to call it.
It reminds me of what Seattle and Portland must have felt like before all the money moved in
Sure.
and kind of pushed out the true vibe of the city. That's what Portland feels like.
So it's like an authentic town.
Very authentic. Dude, they got minor league sports.
Oh,
They
come
got
on.
the Sea Dogs, which is a AA team for the Red Sox. They got a G League team for the Celtics. So they got baseball, they got basketball, and they also have ice hockey. They got minor league hockey. I love a town with minor league sports.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't want to go buy a jersey that says Sea Dogs on it?
Exactly.
And then walk around, and then people are like, what are the Sea Dogs? Like, you don't even know, because I live in Portland, Maine, and I got my own thing.
I'm clicking through every picture of the in Google Images, and not one of them disappoints.
No, it's beautiful. Lighthouses, bunch of bakeries, and they got a piece of the Berlin Wall for absolutely no reason, but in the waterfront area. I told the audience that on the Saturday shows. No one knew what the hell I was talking about, and they learned that they have a piece of the Berlin Wall over by the wharf.
He asked the mayor, like, which side is it that you guys were interested in? And he's just like, yep.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this town is not as ironic as I thought it was.
It made me think that, like, hey, when the Berlin Wall got tore down, they just sell that online, like a stadium sells seats right before they tear it down.
Who got to sell it? Who's the one that took it down? There's like, I put this into a train, we'll take it to Portland, Maine, and sell it for several dollars.
I think it was a thing. Like, I was obviously we were too young to remember this, but right after it got torn down in '89, there was probably like infomercials like, "Would you like a piece of the Berlin Wall?"
Oh my God, there had to be.
We got so much of this crap. Come buy it, hang it up in your town square, and then your townspeople won't be able to understand why we have a piece of it. What's our connection to communism, or what's our connection to Germany, or East and West Berlin? Nothing. Nothing is the connection.
Doesn't say. No one. They're hiding it very well.
I don't think there is.
Who sold it or where the money went?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like you could buy some of this. That's why I like going to museums in smaller towns. Like I remember one time I went to an art museum, or no, it was some kind of museum in Spokane, Washington, and they had Cleopatra's shoe. And I'm like, that's all they got, you know, because they're in Spokane. They don't get the good billing stuff. You're like, I got a Cleopatra shoe. It makes you wonder, is that Cleopatra's shoe, or is that just a shoe that you're telling me is Cleopatra's?
Yeah, there's this tag on it.
Yeah.
Every time I go to a thing and I see a tag, like authentic, I'm like, yeah, but who put that tag? Where's that tag's authenticity? You know?
And every time you find out about these governing bodies that approve these certifications, eventually there's a documentary that says there's massive fraud.
Of course.
Like the little logos you see on tuna fish saying that these are responsibly caught and sourced fish.
Oh, don't tell me that. I just spent $15 on a sleeve of tuna yesterday because of that.
Apparently a giant scam. It was in a documentary that it's just a big corporation and then you buy into it and then they'll give you the stupid sticker, but they don't actually police the companies to make sure that they're not doing the thing that the label says they're not doing.
Man,
it's a bummer.
I thought I got line caught. Like
maybe. I mean, it doesn't mean it isn't, but it also means like the company giving out the certification isn't doing their proper checks and balances to make sure they're doing it right.
A sleeve of line caught tuna cans was $15 versus like $6 for a regular.
But you feel better about it.
No, Becca does. I don't care. They're tuna. They're stupid. 100 years and keep getting caught? That's on you, bud. That's not my problem. But I guess I feel better a little bit.
You're the bear, and and she's over there like trying to find the right level of porridge.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're like, I don't care. Just give me this damn tuna.
I hope the line caught means something. It means it was an individual put a line in and pulled it out versus like big net fishing.
I want an indigenous person with a pole and a string and a net. And I want that guy to get 100% of this $15 that I'm spending for this can of tuna.
Or they chew up the tuna for me, spit it in my mouth. That's the sustainability that I'm here for.
It is weird how we're kind of backtracking because all these certifications came in because a lot of people got sick. Like if you think about like the health department. We created a health department because too many people died of foodborne illnesses. Yeah. And then we kind of want to go back to organic, right? So now you're like, no, I want a farmer with dirty fingernails making me my juice. But then you're like, all right, but now he's not wearing plastic gloves, but also plastic's bad for the environment. But now you're also going to get salmonella and you're going to have the runs for 2 weeks.
That's no good.
It's no fun in either direction.
When I opened the can of because we had some old, like non-pole tuna and regular, the difference did look. I don't know like what.
You could see it.
I could see a difference in the quality. But I don't know what a line versus, like, if a net, does the net really darken the tuna that much? I don't understand it. But apparently, 83% of this MSC certified tuna was just not following the certifications. So that's too much tuna.
I forgot what documentary we watched that in, but it was just one of those documentaries where I'm tired of those, by the way. Those documentaries that give you bad information at the end, there's no hope. They just kind of go, and you're like, no, leave me with something. Like, am I not allowed to eat? What am I supposed to eat now?
Yeah, they're like, and for the future, who knows? It's always that at the end. It's always like, but it's up to you to make decisions. Vote with your dollars. Well, how? Where?
How? Because the next channel says you need your omega-3 fatty acids, and then you're like, all right, but how are you draining it out of these fish to put them in these capsules for me to take?
Yeah.
Like, there's too many things here.
Yeah. Seaspiracy.
That's the name of it. That was the,
it's on Netflix in case you're interested in watching.
Yeah, I remember I watched that documentary, and they're like, don't eat sushi because we're overfishing. And then but the way I took it is like, we better go, that we're running out of sushi.
Like, guess what I'm having for dinner tonight, boy. I always had this great idea for Netflix should have like food recommendations, and you can like order it through like Seamless on Netflix. Like, hey, I'm gonna watch this movie tonight. That'd be a perfect one.
That would be.
Why don't you have a little dolphin steak while you're watching Seaspiracy? The algorithm doesn't get it right.
It's like a dinner sommelier to go along with your viewing habits.
Yeah.
I think that's a good mix. Have we been hitting an hour?
We're 51.
51. That's pretty good.
That's hour-ish.
Yeah, that's a comedian's hour. I'll say that. I think that was everything we wanted to talk. Thank you, everyone who came out in Portland. 4 shows. We sold out 2 of them. The other 2 were well attended, up in the 70s, 80s amounts of people. Saturday, you guys were a little tired. I could tell. Everyone was doing yard work. Friday, you guys were amazing because I was not in a good mood. I just driven for 7 hours. 2 lanes, by the way, between here and between New York and Maine. That's all they space it out. 2-lane roads all the way up. But the crowds were hot, and thank you for doing that. Go to my website, zoltancomedy.com. I think Philadelphia, by the time this comes out, will be up next, and a bunch of dates after that. New York City, stay tuned. There's an announcement for a show I'll be doing in November, my first official New York City show, and a bunch of other dates. ZoltanComedy.com. Safe Journal, safejournal.co, TWIZ at checkout for 20% off, 25% off. I forget the percentage, but you get a handwritten note by me and a damn good journal. Huh? I think that's the show for this week. Any parting words, Michael?
Just go vote with your dollars. That's what I would just say. And check us out in either the next episode or the after for
Hulk Hogan
Real
hats.
American Beer hats. They're on pre-order, so who knows when they're going to come in, but we're going to get them at some point. So
they're never coming in.
Stay tuned for that. And maybe we'll get a third one. You can sign it and send it off to some. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just getting excited about the hat. I want everyone to have some of this stuff.
I don't want you to get too excited because I have heard a lot of stories that anytime wrestlers get their money in advance, they don't show up to the event. So keep that in mind. We might never get these hats, but
maybe we should get like a T-shirt or something that currently exists. It's not a pre-order. We'll take a look.
We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But until then, we'll see you next week. Have a lovely, lovely summer day.
Trekking heavy or traveling light, there's one thing that's right wherever I go. That's where I am.